Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 7 p.m. on LA56.
A fitness model and actor killed by a train while filming on railroad tracks. What went horribly wrong?
It's a day to celebrate equality in America, but today one neighborhood was targeted with Ku Klux Klan propaganda.
The 30th annual MLK Kingdom Day Parade celebrates the life and accomplishments of Martin Luther King Jr. Some parade participants continue his legacy of non-violent protest. Good evening, I'm David Ono.
I'm Ellen Leva in for Colleen Sullivan. Welcome to Eyewitness News on LA56, LA's only live local newscast at 7 p.m. We're learning more about what happened moments before fitness model and reality star Greg Plitt was killed by a train over the weekend. His girlfriend is now talking about the tragic incident. Eyewitness News reporter Alex Michelson is live in Burbank with her reaction. Alex?
Ellen, we'll have her reaction in a moment, but just within the last hour, we had a new interview with one of Greg Plitt's best friends who's giving us new information. He says that Plitt was here on the tracks filming a promotional endorsement for a health company. He was doing a stunt, maybe a Superman kind of stunt, where he was trying to run and get away from the train, but he tripped and then was unable to get away from that train. Video on Greg Plitt's YouTube page shows him working out on train tracks close to a passing Metrolink train. Investigators say he was on those same train tracks in Burbank yesterday, possibly filming a segment when he was struck and killed by a coming train.
I have no idea what Greg was thinking, but the reality is when you see tracks, you have to believe that within moments a train is coming.
Scott Johnson of Metrolink says there is a process to get film permits on the track.
You can shoot to your heart's content. Unfortunately, in this case, that didn't occur.
There's a makeshift memorial by the tracks remembering Plitt's life.
Not the muscles and everything else, the quality of life that's improved.
Here's Plitt working out with ABC7's Lori Corbin last year. His body was so strong. Bravo's Andy Cohen said he seemed invincible, like Superman. His girlfriend, Melanie Martin, can't believe he's gone.
The last decade of his life, dedicating it to empowering others to find their greatness.
She says Plitt was a West Point graduate, former Army Ranger, model, actor, and reality star with a love of adventure.
That's what I think anybody would learn from him. Was if you're going to do something, to do it the best you can.
So it seems obvious to say the advice is to not go onto a train track when a train is about to come, but Metrolink says that this is a real problem, that there's actually one person hit in Southern California every other week standing on a train track. As for that interview with Greg Plitt's best friend, you'll hear from him tonight at 11 o'clock right here on ABC7 and also on Nightline later tonight on ABC7. For now, reporting live from Burbank, Alex Michelson, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Certainly clarifies a lot. Alex, thank you for that report. We'll see you tonight at 11. Huntington Beach police responded to calls of a suspicious device found inside a parked van. This is what authorities found when they arrived. During the investigation, the owner of the van returned and said the bomb was several fireworks bundled together and mounted to the top of the van as a joke. The bomb squad responded, took possession of the fireworks. Police say the owner of the van will not face fireworks charges, but he was arrested for possession of drugs and a dagger.
The 30th annual Kingdom Day Parade took place today, paying tribute to Martin Luther King Jr. and his fight for civil rights. Eyewitness News reporter Leo Starworth was there, capturing all the sights and sounds.
The theme of the 30th annual MLK Kingdom Day Parade was love and respect. Let it begin with me.
The world would be much better if everybody would, love is the first thing, and everybody just come together.
A replica Rosa Parks bus wowed the crowd along with marching bands, dancers, and a host of notable faces, including our own Eyewitness News anchors, Mark Brown, David Ono, Philip Palmer, and traffic reporter Alicia Del Valle. ABC7 carried the parade live. Parade goers say Dr. King's dream continues. What was Dr. King's dream all about, brother?
That we all be equal, we all be free, and we all walk together hand in hand.
I believe that it's going to get better each year, as long as we stay together as one. If we do that, we're going to be fine.
Mayor Eric Garcetti and City Council President and Parade Grand Marshal Herb Wesson waved to the crowd aboard a float. Law enforcement also marched in the celebration. There are people from all cultures and backgrounds out here celebrating this special day.
It's actually the first time for me to be at a Martin Luther King parade in my whole life, ever. and I'm all excited about it.
Thing is that I have a dream. We love together, world peace.
He had a dream to have people from different cultures be together. Happy King Day!
Happy King Day!
King Day!
Leo Starr with ABC7 Eyewitness News.
And many of our eyewitnesses have been posting pictures of the parade using the hashtag ABC7 Eyewitness. Thanks to all of you who've posted. Keep those pictures coming. If you were at the parade or if you did something else to honor Dr. King today, share a photo on social media and use that hashtag ABC7 Eyewitness so we can share it here on Eyewitness News.
And groups around Southern California are honoring the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. by volunteering. Hundreds of people use this day of service to work with a nonprofit group called City Year. They painted inspiring murals throughout the Diego Rivera Learning Complex, which is a high school in South LA. The school is one of the lowest performing in LA. Organizers hope to make Diego Rivera a place where students want to come and learn.
President and First Lady Michelle Obama used the MLK holiday to do some volunteer work, too, at a Washington, D.C. Boys and Girls Club. Two were joined by their daughter, Malia. They helped the young people with murals. They also helped assemble literacy kits with books and flashcards to help youngsters improve their reading and writing skills. The President says securing the gains made possible by Dr. King requires constant vigilance.
All right, let's talk about our weather. It was a perfect day for a parade, but it's also dry. Is it ever going to rain again?
Yeah, it's kind of the question, David. As you see here from our time-lapse at LAX, some of the clouds did return today, which is a sign that the moisture is in the air and temperatures as a result will start cooling down. Unfortunately, those clouds didn't come with any rain, and it was a dry day today, but very warm. Santa Clarita 79, Riverside just about 78. Your high in Palm Springs 80 degrees. We're at 58 in downtown, so another night like we have been seeing with temperatures in the 50s and even the 60s right now, dropping down into the lower 50s tonight. But tomorrow, temperatures are going to be cooling. In fact, today, while it was warm, was the beginning of a little bit of a cooling trend. Unfortunately, it looks like we have another warming trend in store in the 7-day, really strong one. I'll tell you about it coming up in that 7-day in a few minutes.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
And sadly, on this holiday, someone left packets containing KKK anti-King propaganda outside dozens of homes in the Santa Ana neighborhood. Orange County Bureau Chief Eileen Ferrer talked to some of the neighbors who got them.
Neighbors call it a disturbing delivery. Inside a plastic bag, a flyer from the Loyal White Knights of the Ku Klux Klan attacking Martin Luther King Jr. on the day celebrating his birthday.
They obviously don't want this holiday to happen.
And that was intentional, of course. There's so much violence in the world that this is, again, a recruitment for more violence. So it's pretty pathetic.
Police say about 40 homes in Santa Ana received the racist flyer last night or early this morning. Also in the packet, candy, a rock, and a business card that says racial purity is America's security.
I was shocked that this would be in our area. Obviously, by this, they are recruiting. I mean, they want support. Nuts.
6 months ago, a neighborhood in Orange also received flyers from the same group, hoping to recruit members. Police are investigating both cases, but so far, investigators consider it a hate incident, not a hate crime.
There's no specific victim that they're targeting or specific group that they're targeting. It's just them spouting off their beliefs and encouraging people to join their organization.
So at this point, police say they're documenting the incidents in the neighborhood, but again, this is not considered a hate crime. It is considered free speech. In Santa Ana, Eileen Ferrer, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
And the search is on for the gunman who rode up on a bicycle and fired on a real estate developer sitting in his Rolls Royce. 48-year-old Cameron Siegel is hospitalized in serious but stable condition. The 911 tapes have been released.
The victim is in the parking area in a Rolls Royce. The suspect is male, black, wearing a blue cap, black jacket, tan jeans, last seen southbound, possibly on Gardner.
Siegel was shot in the face and chest. It happened Friday night as Siegel was parked outside of his office. He was on his way to purchase a building in downtown L.A. Police say it appears Siegel was targeted by this gunman. The shooter is still on the loose.
One of two teens who eluded police during a multi-state crime spree is awaiting extradition back to Kentucky. 18-year-old Dalton Hayes made his first court appearance after being caught over the weekend in Florida. He and his 13-year-old girlfriend were arrested in Panama City Beach after being found sleeping in a stolen vehicle. They've been on the run for 14 days through 5 different states, accused of theft, writing stolen checks, and burglary.
Sent out a flyer with their pictures on it, and a description of the vehicle that they were last seen in to the law enforcement agencies in Panama City Beach, and they found the
13-year-old girl has been turned over to Florida's Department of Children and Family Services and taken to a safe house. She'll face charges in juvenile court because she is a minor.
Pope Francis is heading back to Rome after a week-long trip to Asia. His last stop, the Philippines, where he conducted a giant outdoor mass in Manila with an estimated crowd of about 6 million people. The Pope is looking ahead to his visit to the U.S. later this year. However, that trip will not include California. Many were hoping he would make the journey to canonize Father Junipero Serra, who founded the California Missions. The Pope will visit Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New York, and the United Nations.
And coming up on Eyewitness News, the X-Files made public, the Air Force revealing hundreds of thousands of pages of UFO records. We're going to tell you about some of the bizarre sightings. And caught on camera, a stunning near miss in an icy New Jersey turnpike. It's video that will take your breath away. Plus, a man is buried in the back of a garbage truck. Officials are calling it a miracle he managed to stay alive. An incredible video of a tractor-trailer crashing on the New Jersey Turnpike. The man was recording on his cell phone while he waited for traffic to clear. Then the trailer lost control, barely missing the man's car. The crash happened yesterday near the New Brunswick exit. The man recording the video was not injured. It's unclear whether the truck driver was hurt in the crash. Icy roads caused more than 400 crashes across New Jersey yesterday.
Wow. Firefighters are calling it a miracle. A man survived after being stuck in the back of a garbage truck while the operators were picking up and compacting trash. The man says he was digging through the dumpster looking for his lost wallet when the truck scooped him up. He was stuck in the back of the truck for 3.5 hours before he was finally dumped at the Yolo County landfill. The man says he used wooden planks, creating a pocket around him so he wouldn't get crushed.
He described the area that he built around him as a coffin. So, and those were his words, and we're fortunate that it didn't turn out to be a coffin.
Well, the truck driver spotted him as he fell out and stopped a bulldozer that was about to flatten him. Another good thing was that the truck was only half full, or he most certainly would not have made it out alive. The man was taken to the hospital with only minor injuries.
Wow. Here's another incredible story of survival after a massive car pileup this weekend in Oregon. Check this out. 27-year-old Caleb Whitby ended up being pinned between two semi-trucks. Police say the chain reaction crash began when a semi spun on the black ice on the road. Whitby's truck plowed into the back of a jackknife semi, then got crushed by another one.
I turned right back, closed my eyes, and said a prayer that I'd be safe, and I do believe, and I'm very firm in that, and I just held onto the wheel as tight as I could, tucked my head, and just kept praying the whole time. And I mean, after he hit, I just hoped that it would be over with soon.
He says it's a miracle he survived. After the accident, passers-by came out to help him get out of that area. Amazingly, he was able to walk away from the wreck with just a bruise and a few scratches.
What a photo.
Yeesh.
That is amazing.
To have the worst luck and the best luck at the same exact time. But I mean, that just blows my mind.
We had a beautiful day today.
Oh gosh, you know, temperatures today were actually cooler, if you believe that, than yesterday, which was a little cooler than Saturday. But nevertheless, the whole forecast the last 5 days, 6 days has been above average. We're going to change that, though. A little bit cooler weather, but it's only temporary. In fact, it looks like today's numbers are nothing compared to what we have for high temperatures later on in Saturday. I can see you, David. Yeah, I know. We got some 80s in there, in fact. What we would love is some rain. We don't have it. And we have some cloud cover today, but not significant cloud cover, not a lot of moisture, not any energy to do anything with any moisture if we had it. So we kept it mostly sunny, dry, and I'd say mild. 72 is our high in downtown. Normally we're at 68. We're going to get to about 68 the next couple of days. And then we're going to start warming things up big time from Thursday on with Santa Ana's back in the forecast. A cool night in downtown, 58 degrees, calm winds, about the same at Laguna Beach. So overall, it is a pleasant one this evening. 62 in Burbank goes along with that theme, and 61 Ojai as well. 57 Palmdale. Obviously, head over to Wrightwood and Big Bear. You're in the 30s and 40s. And Hemet also in the 60s. 64 right now, one of the warmer spots this evening. So this is the setup. We have really nothing significant in the atmosphere right now. We have a weak ridge of high pressure, and you can kind of see a little bit of an arc right here in the atmosphere. But you see this area of cloud cover right here, this disturbed weather area, that is actually a little trough of low pressure. That is going to come through as we go into the next 2 days. It'll increase the onshore flow, which brings us cooler air. It brings us more cloud cover, maybe even a little bit of morning cloud cover, low clouds and fog. But the temperatures will be right near average. After that low moves through, another area of high pressure builds in. But this time, we're going to start seeing those Santa Anas really kick in Thursday on into the beginning of the weekend, and temperatures are going to skyrocket. We would love to get a really strong area of high pressure in, or low pressure, I should say, to kick up some showers, but not this go around. 48 Pasadena tonight, 45 Santa Clarita. Highs tomorrow, a little cooler than you saw today. In fact, we'll go with 69 Los Angeles, and I just showed you the average high is 68. So we're right about average, 70 in Northridge, all the way over to Covina and the IE. It looks like this forecast is a dry one, and January is supposed to be a wet month. And it's not playing out that way. December was, but we need the rain. It doesn't look like this is happening here in this month. So highs the next 2 days in the upper 60s in your 70 forecast. But look at that jump in those temperatures on Thursday, 77 to 78 Friday, and then 81 both Saturday and Sunday. The winds are going to be kicking up. Those are Santa Ana winds right there, folks. Valleys, IE, a couple of days right around 69, 70 degrees. A pleasant forecast for you. Temperatures into the 80s for the weekend and breezy. The beaches, fantastic, mid-60s. Morning cloud cover tomorrow. And probably a little bit on Wednesday, and then we'll keep it mostly sunny into the mid to upper 70s for the weekend. The mountains, the winds are going to be kicking up here Wednesday, Thursday, and then again over the weekend. Temperatures nearing 60 by Sunday, and in the high desert, looking good for a couple of days. Dry, windy, and mild for the most part. Temperatures in the mid to upper 60s by this weekend. More weather coming up in a few minutes. Back to you guys.
Jonathan, thank you.
You're welcome.
Smartphones could be getting even smarter. Microsoft just patented a way for your phone to go into theater mode when you're at the movies. Microsoft calls it inconspicuous mode. Sounds are gone and the screen is a faint glow. Notifications don't show up on your home screen. Time is displayed in large numbers that are easy to glance at. But the key feature is that it would be automatic.
The X-Files have been made public for the first time. The Air Force is revealing 130,000 pages of UFO records. Bizarre sightings in the sky, hundreds with no explanation. ABC's Nick Watt reports.
Was this a UFO at the 1965 World's Fair? Just one of the cases buried deep in 130,000 pages of documents that John Greenwald just posted online for the very first time.
There's absolutely something out there. The big question mark is, have they come here?
After the infamous alleged alien landing in Roswell in 1947, the U.S. Air Force spent years investigating 12,618 UFO sightings.
The military and the government wants you to believe that there's nothing to this topic.
Most sightings were debunked. That photo at the World's Fair, quote, a processing defect. But 701, including numerous sightings over Washington, D.C. in 1952, remain not fully explained in the papers. Independence Day, based on just a little bit of fact?
They really couldn't, at the end of the day, explain some of these more important cases.
But in 1969, the government announced, case closed.
I believe the documentation proves beyond any shadow of a doubt that there is a cover-up going on.
That's his conclusion. Now you too can read the documents and reach your own. Nick Watt, ABC News, Los Angeles.
What do you think?
Maybe.
Believer?
Yeah.
It was a little too close for comfort. Still to come, a local family has a close encounter with a mountain lion who wouldn't leave their backyard. And we're going to hear from the frightened family.
And what kind of reception did Bill Cosby get at his first comedy show in California since the allegations against him flared up? We'll tell you coming up. A very sad outcome after a mule was struck by a car on Pacific Coast Highway in Malibu very early today. LA County Sheriff's deputies say the mule got out of its pen, was struck by a car about 6:45 this morning. County Animal Control, including a veterinarian, responded to the scene. The mule was struck on the eastbound PCH near Heather Cliff Road, but injuries to the mule were so great about 9 a.m. it had to be euthanized. It was not clear who owned the mule.
Family in Arcadia has a close encounter with a mountain lion in their backyard. They say it would not leave. Eyewitness News reporter Mark Robles has video of the persistent cat.
Caught on camera, a large mountain lion made its presence known Sunday night in Arcadia.
I just kept my flashlight on it the whole time, making sure that I knew where it was at the whole time.
While Fernando Gonzalez admits spotting a mountain lion isn't really uncommon, he said what happened last night behind his home was unusual.
It just wouldn't leave, so we're trying to shoot away and flash it with the light, and it wouldn't move, so we called the police.
By this morning, the news of another sighting had quickly spread.
Well, it certainly makes me a little bit more aware as I go alone walking.
Rosario Sabio said she's never seen a mountain lion, but says bears are often roaming the neighborhood. Most neighbors we spoke to said the same thing. Wildlife comes with the territory.
They're here, so we have to just keep an eye on them and keep our pets inside at night and That's all we can do.
Now, according to the Department of Fish and Wildlife, it is extremely rare for a person to be attacked by a mountain lion. Over the last 8 years, there have only been 3 attacks statewide, and none of those here in Southern California.
It was just staring back at me. I moved left, it moved left, I moved right, it moved right.
For Fernando and his daughter, they said it was a spooky experience they'd rather not relive.
Kind of gave us a couple of looks back saying like, I'll be back or something, I don't know.
As it disappeared into the darkness. Reporting from Arcadia, Mark Cutter-Robles, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
A genetics lab has confirmed that wildlife experts had thought. There appears to be only one last remaining wolverine in California. Last year and again this month, we saw rare photos of a wolverine taken by a trail camera in the Tahoe National Forest. Hair samples were sent to a wildlife DNA lab in Montana, and that lab confirms it's the same wolverine detected in 2008, 2009, 2010, and 2013. That's the good news. The bad news is there is no sign of any other wolverines in California. This wolverine appears to be healthy. However, it may also be very lonely.
Well, in the evening's top stories next at 7:30, and we'll hear from a Southern California woman who marched in Selma, Alabama with Martin Luther King Jr.
And that's when they pointed the bayonets at us, and then they drew the guns on us. Are we going to be trampled and beat and shot?
Why she risked her life to march with a late civil rights leader.
And getting ready for the State of the Union address, we'll hear from some people in Southern California who are now on their way to Washington as guests of honor for the president's speech.
Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 7:30 p.m. on LA56.
Our top story at 7:30, the 30th Annual Kingdom Day Parade. I'm Ellen Leyva in for Colleen Sullivan.
I'm David Ona. This is Eyewitness News on LA56, LA's only live local newscast at 7 p.m. The parade worked its way through South LA today. The theme was Love and Respect, Let It Begin With Me. There was a replica Rosa Parks bus along with marching bands, dancers, and a host of notable faces, including Parade Grand Marshal Herb Wesson. Michelle Tuzzi and Leslie Sykes hosted our coverage.
81-year-old Evelyn Knight is a lifelong activist who left her home and her job in Long Beach 50 years ago to join Martin Luther King Jr. in Selma, Alabama, a battleground in the fight for voting rights. And Evelyn watched Bloody Sunday unfold on TV, and that's when she knew she had to join the struggle for equality and justice for all.
I saw all the brutality of the police attacking the people. Looking at that just made me very disturbed and very angry and very upset. When Martin Luther King came on TV and asked us to come down to support the people of Selma and to support the right to vote, and so we responded, and people did, because I had experienced segregation. I had grown up in Alabama. I knew what it was like to have to sit in the back of the bus, and what it was like to have to drink out of, you know, white and black fountains and not be able to go to a restaurant. Everybody wanted to be a part of that and to go and do something about it. So when we got down to Selma, we saw just with thousands of people from all over the country that had just came to Selma. Martin just gave us a real burning speech. So let's go on to Montgomery and get our voting rights. In that first march, that Tuesday, I was marching about 4 rows behind Martin Luther King, and I could see him, I could see everything that he was saying, everything he was doing. And then we were fine, we were singing, and we were happy, and we were going to go to Montgomery. But little did we know that National Guard was on the other side of the bridge, and the police was on the other side of the bridge waiting on us. So when we got there, then fear grappled us and grappled me because I saw what was going on, and I'm wondering now, what do we do now? Is this going to happen to us, what happened on Bloody Sunday? Are we going to be trampled and beaten and shot? It's scary. You're frightened. I knew there are people down there that wanted to kill me, but there are some things that is bigger than fear and more important to you than fear, and that's why you do what you do. That's when they pointed the bayonets at us, and then they drew the guns on us. And so Martin Luther King turned around toward us and looked at us, and he said, we're going to pray. And so we all kneeled down to pray. And when we got up, he said, we're going to go to Montgomery. He said, we're not going to go tonight. He said, reason why we're not going tonight, because I don't want anybody to get killed. It took us 5 days to get from Selma to Montgomery. Thousands and thousands were there, and I mean, we were just jubilant. It was just celebration, celebration, celebration. Justice is justice. Fairness is fairness. That belongs to everybody. That doesn't belong to some people and not to others. That's the way God made us. I never forget Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King is with me at all times. I mean, and I am Martin Luther King. So it never goes away. I mean, I live it. It's part of my life. It's from the womb to the tomb.
Well, Evelyn Knight, as we mentioned, is 81 years old. She's a retired social worker, and she's still very active in all sorts of community issues.
Evelyn was at the parade today, and she tells us she will probably go back to Selma this March to mark the 50th anniversary of the life-changing event. Great story. Well, a group of employees at Apple are putting together a petition. They're angry about the company's policy on the MLK holiday. Many of those workers want to be paid a day off. Others want to use the holiday as a day of service. Apple does not give its employees a paid vacation day. Instead, it doubles the amount of money it donates to charity for employees who, on their own, do a day of service. Nearly 200 workers have signed the petition. A spokeswoman for Apple says the company has no comment on this petition.
In less than 24 hours, President Obama will deliver his State of the Union address. For the first time in his tenure, he will stand before a Republican-led Congress. The president is expected to pitch tax increases on the wealthiest Americans. Some Republicans say they are already ready to block that proposal. The president is also expected to ask lawmakers to make community college free for students, increase paid leave for workers, and enact broad cybersecurity rules.
4 local guests have been invited to sit with First Lady Michelle Obama at tomorrow night's State of the Union address. Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes tells us they are being recognized for their community work.
But average wages have barely budged.
President Obama goes before the nation tomorrow night, the annual State of the Union. And if Southern Californians aren't on his mind, at least they'll be in his view.
I just couldn't believe it. It was like winning the lottery.
Back in 2012, LAUSD adult education teacher Catrice Mubairu wrote the president about the needs of career technical education. Last year, she introduced him during his visit to the LA Trade and Technical College. And now she's been handpicked by the White House to watch the State of the Union address.
It's a great opportunity for me to represent the school and the community. And, I'm just very grateful to be selected.
Redemption set to play a role in the State of the Union. 27-year-old Prophet Walker spent 6 years in prison for robbery, but turned his life around. He attended Loyola Marymount University and recently ran for the California Assembly. The White House is bringing him to the State of the Union to note his anti-crime work in Watts.
I had been sentenced in a courtroom, and I could not see the next 6 years of my life, let alone the next 12, and ever being asked to join the president and the first lady.
Joining him, LAPD Captain Philip Tingaridis.
I got a phone call from the White House asking if we could come and be a part of the State of the Union, and I got to tell you, I was just speechless.
Tingaridis also being honored for his efforts in Watts to bring police and residents together to crack down on violent crime.
It's not me. It's an entire group of people, entire group of organizations. It's an entire community working together to make a huge change in violent crime.
Also set to sit with the First Lady, Compton's Ladea Epps, a single mom who took part in a construction boot camp program and is now helping build the Crenshaw LAX light rail line. In the newsroom, Rob Hayes, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Vice President Joe Biden spoke at a breakfast in Delaware today, but made no mention of gunshots being fired at his home over the weekend. Biden was in Wilmington at an event honoring slain civil rights activist Martin Luther King Jr. Several gunshots were fired from a speeding car by his driveway of his house. He and his wife were not home at the time. No one was hurt. Police continue to investigate the incident, which prompted Secret Service to boost security at his home. Despite numerous attacks in the media, comedian Bill Cosby received a warm reception at a sold-out show in Turlock, California this weekend. Cosby has been the target of a series of attacks by more than a dozen women, accusing him of sexual assault. However, there was only one protester at yesterday's show. Suzette Sims says she is disappointed more demonstrators didn't show up.
This whole situation is a testament to how women have been treated in our country, and it goes back so many years, and if you're powerful and you're important, the rules don't apply to you.
It concerns me that they are convicting him without a trial.
Some of the allegations against Cosby go back decades. His lawyer denies any wrongdoing and says Cosby has never been charged with any crime. At the end of his show, the Turlock audience gave Cosby a standing ovation.
The surviving members of the Beastie Boys want the maker of Monster Energy drink to pay nearly $2.5 million in legal fees to cover their costs in a copyright violation case. The lawyers for the group filed a request in a New York court. In June, a Manhattan federal court jury awarded the rappers $1.7 million in damages. Monster Energy Company, which is based in Corona, admitted to wrongly using the group's songs in a video that was online for 5 weeks. The surviving members of TLC, one of the biggest female groups of the 90s, are turning to Kickstarter to help chase a new dream, releasing their final album. It's been nearly 13 years since TLC's last album, 3D, which was released after the death of Lisa Left Eye Lopes in 2002. The group, which currently consists of T-Boz and Chili, launched the campaign today. The duo hopes to raise $150,000 to help pay for the recording process.
Not even a large brain tumor can ruin this couple's big day.
So ahead, the bride and groom planning their dream wedding while battling several devastating hurdles. How some Eyewitness News viewers are coming to the rescue.
Plus, we'll introduce you to one sea lion who seems to prefer swimming in a pool over swimming in the ocean. We'll explain.
If you thought today and the last few days have been warm, I've got news for you. A bigger warm-up in store. 74 cats, a few minutes away.
After reaching a tentative agreement, the California Nurses Association called off plans to strike against Kaiser. The union says the agreement includes a 14% pay increase over 3 years, additional workplace protections for issues such as Ebola, and increased employer contributions to 401k retirement plans. The agreement includes registered nurses and nurse practitioners who work at 86 Kaiser Permanente hospitals and clinics across the state. The union members will vote on the new agreement later on this month.
A local husband and wife are making new plans to get married again. They hurriedly got married after learning the groom needed surgery to remove a brain tumor. Then their wedding venue refused to refund their money. Eyewitness News reporter Leticia Juarez explains. Our circle of Eyewitness News viewers stepped forward to help.
For the second time around, Destiny and Nicholas Brusca are looking for a wedding venue.
It's amazing. I never thought something like this would happen.
That's because 3 weeks before their January 4th wedding, the couple was told Nicholas needed surgery to remove a 4-ounce brain tumor. And if that wasn't bad enough, the garden room in Garden Grove, where they had planned to host their wedding, refused to reschedule the day or give back their $3,600 deposit. So they contacted Eyewitness News for help.
Our whole goal was to warn future brides and grooms and make sure they don't go through something like this.
The story got the attention of Bruno Serrato, owner of the White House in Anaheim. He offered to throw the Bruscas the wedding of their dreams.
And when I saw that this young gentleman is fighting something and it was in my family, I think my first thought was like, let me help.
He is providing the venue and preparing the food free of charge. Others have offered to give the bride and groom flowers, a cake, a photographer, and a DJ for the day.
It restored some faith in humanity that there actually are kind, warm-hearted people out there.
The couple did tie the knot back in December in a simple ceremony when they feared the worst. Now they have a second chance at the wedding they hoped for.
It's heartwarming to know there's people out there that would do something like this for us. And not only for us, imagine like how many other people they've helped.
Today's tasting just one of many decisions the couple will be making, but the biggest decision they still have to make is setting a date for the celebration. In Anaheim, Leticia Juarez, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
So to come, following the example of Martin Luther King.
We'll show you how many people chose to spend this holiday making their community a better place.
And DeAndre Jordan with a big game against the Celtics. Highlights coming up in sports. Forget the ocean. One fun-loving sea lion decided to take a dip with humans. And you could see him taking laps in a small pool while a large crowd looked on. He doesn't seem to mind the attention. Actually, he seems to be enjoying it. Crews tried to coerce the animal out of the pool, but it was to no avail. The sea lion just waddled his way into the larger pool. Eventually, crews captured the sea lion, returned him to the ocean. To make this even more unusual, the New Zealand sea lion is a very rare and protected species. But
entertained a lot of people, too.
Wow. I don't think he knows what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't get comfortable.
So we're cooling down a little bit.
Oh, my goodness. We've got a couple of days, but we're not going to get cool. I mean, temperatures are going where they should be for 2 days, and then what happens? They're going back up. Not only are they warming up, we have temperatures getting into the 80s. Folks, we need some rain.
Ridiculous.
I know, it's ridiculous. Not for January. Unfortunately, things are playing out a little bit like last year. We were hopeful in December. We had some rain. We had some really big rain events, in fact, but dry, warm, pleasant. That's what we got right now. Highs today, 79 Santa Clarita. You topped out at 80 in Palm Springs, 78 Riverside, lower 60 Santa Monica, 65 is your high. Newport Beach, so temperatures today again above average. We did have a little bit of a cool down compared to yesterday, and then that was cooler than the day before, but temperatures are going to be skyrocketing later on in the 7-day. Cool in downtown, 58, 62. Same story in Van Nuys, and temperatures in the upper 50s, lower 60s at the coast. LAX coming in at 57 right now. Head up to Oxnard, it's 57 as well. Mid-40s in Wrightwood. Your current temperature in Palmdale is 57, and Burbank, again, 62 in the valley at the moment. So the weather pattern is shaping up like this. We have a ridge of high pressure. In fact, you see this little arc right here in the cloud cover? That is a ridge of high pressure that's been hanging around. It's not a real strong ridge, but strong enough to keep any of the systems that have rolled through to the north of us at bay for about a week, really. Now, this off on the left side of your screen is a little dip in the atmosphere, a trough of low pressure. That will move through for tomorrow and heading into Wednesday. No rain with it, but maybe some additional cloud cover, and temperatures will cool down close to average, if not right there at average, for tomorrow and for Wednesday. Now, after that, high pressure builds back in, but not only does it build in, it'll bring the Santa Ana winds back, and it will be warmer than we have seen as of late heading into the weekend. 80s expected. For tomorrow morning, coolish, 47, Thousand Oaks, 53 in LA, and then highs tomorrow will top out in the lower 70s at the most. Generally speaking, we're right there where we should be. 69 Los Angeles, 70 Ontario, 65 Huntington Beach, a pleasant day. Some morning cloud cover looks like at the coast, and then partly cloudy in the afternoon. So we'll say 69 tomorrow, 68 on Wednesday. Check it out. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Santa Ana's back into play, and we have temperatures in the 80s by the weekend, all the way into next week, in fact. No rain right now. Valley's IE tomorrow about 70, about the same on Wednesday. Breeze is kicking in Wednesday into Thursday, and temperatures climb into the upper 70s by Friday. A warm, a hot weekend. I'm thinking 81, that's hot. Beaches, tomorrow morning, you got to watch out for a little bit of cloud cover, morning cloud cover and fog, and then it'll be sunny and warming up on Thursday, 77 by Saturday. The mountains, of course, you guys and the Antelope Valley, you're going to see the winds kicking up on Wednesday and Thursday and into the weekend. Temperatures will actually cool off for you. That's the cooler air up there that warms later as it compresses down the mountainside. And so we'll keep it a little bit cooler, in fact, in the high desert. 61 on Thursday, and then back in the mid-60s as we head into Saturday and Sunday. Breezy forecast for you guys. We need rain, but I'm making some calls. I've made some calls. I'm waiting on. I've left messages.
Keep at it.
Everybody's calling me back.
You better keep at it. All right, Jonathan, thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., pastor, activist, humanitarian, and leader, also a sports fan. He had close relationships and friendships with two of the most influential athletes of that era, Jackie Robinson and Muhammad Ali. The KingCenter.org displays a letter Jackie Robinson wrote to Dr. King to accept a role in Southern Christian Leadership Conference and asked Dr. King to support New York Governor Nelson Rockefeller. The website also shares a telegram from Dr. King to Muhammad Ali before a fight in Vegas, wishing him and his opponent good health in the fight. The Kings celebrated Dr. King in a matinee game with Boston. DeAndre Jordan ready for the afternoon start. 10 points and 5 rebounds in the opening 12 minutes. DJ finished with his 21st double-double, 19 points and 12 rebounds. Jamal Crawford came off the bench and supplied 12 points in the second quarter to give L.A. a 10-point lead at the break. After watching a 23-point lead get cut to 2, Blake Griffin helped close out the game. 16 of his 22 points in the second half. He also finished with 9 rebounds and 6 assists. 102-93 the final. The Clippers have won 3 of their last 4. Did Tom Brady have an advantage in Sunday's soggy game in New England? The NFL is investigating whether some of the footballs Brady used were slightly deflated, making it easier to grip in the wet weather. Today, Brady laughed and called the allegations ridiculous. Coach Bill Belichick says he will cooperate fully with the investigation. And a camera caught Tiger Woods giving his girlfriend Lindsey Vonn a smooch after Vonn won her record 63rd World Cup race. During the podium ceremony, a media member with a shoulder-mounted video camera hit Tiger in the mouth and knocked out a tooth. Tiger opens his season this week in Phoenix.
It's a King Day tradition at Roosevelt High in Boyle Heights, turning a day of school into a day of service. Dozens of students, along with local volunteers, turned up to spruce up the school. Eyewitness News reporter Amy Powell was there with them.
Classes weren't in session, but there was plenty of activity on the campus of Roosevelt High School today. Dozens of students, joined by volunteers from Altamed Health Services and the Community Clinic Association of LA County, spent the morning putting fresh coats of paint on stairs and benches and taking on other tasks to beautify the school.
Today, how we got the day off, I'd rather be doing this than to just be at home and not doing nothing. I'd rather take part in an action than to just sit at home. I strongly believe in higher education, so whatever inspires any students to keep going forward, then that's why I'm here to help.
For the fourth year, the high school is celebrating the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. with a day of service. And one of the projects being worked on today will fill the walls of this high school with more than 50 inspirational quotes, including this one. Students say the messages are powerful.
Be so good they can't ignore you.
What do you think of it?
I think it's a good quote because it's telling you, like, be good so they won't, that you stand out. If there's 1,000 stars, like, you'll be the one shining the most.
We have some lettuce, some small lettuce that are still growing.
Maintaining this garden on campus has taught students a lot about sustainable agriculture.
Growing up, like, I was always told, like, get out there, get involved in the community because that's where you grew up in, you know, that's your heart.
They're reaping the benefits of working together and giving back. Amy Powell, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
And more news straight ahead here at 7:30.
And ahead tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7, a rare look inside the home of late Hollywood icon. Bob Hope's 15,000 square foot San Fernando home is on the market. Price tag $23 million. Our entertainment guru George Pinocchio is taking you inside for a first ever private tour. Plus all the late breaking news on Southern California's #1 late newscast, Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7.
Well, the financial news is not so good for DreamWorks Animation. The company is reportedly planning a large amount of layoffs. The Hollywood Reporter confirms the number is expected to be more than the 350 jobs that were cut in 2003. And the cuts should come in production, including artists and animators. A spokesman for DreamWorks says it does not comment on rumor and speculation.
Amazon is getting into the movie-making business. Amazon Studios already produces TV shows, including the award-winning Transparent. Now a new unit, Amazon Original Movies, will produce and acquire films to be shown in theaters and then streamed on Amazon Prime within a few weeks of release. The company says the goal is to produce up to a dozen movies a year to start.
Exciting news for all you wannabe Jedis. The Force may soon be a reality, at least the part where you move objects with your mind in a special armband, that is. It's called Mayo. And the way it works, well, we're not completely clear on how that works, but it has something to do with sensors that read the electrical activity when you make a fist, spread your fingers, and so on. For instance, you could turn down the volume on the television or adjust the thermostat or maybe pilot a Millennium Falcon. Though for now, there are still some glitches to be worked out, but can you imagine waving your hand?
Oh, cool.
The volume goes up, the volume goes down, maybe you turn the channel.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, just another way we could become even lazier.
Exactly.
Not get off the couch.
Thanks for joining us for Eyewitness News at 7:30 on LA56. Law and Order SVU is next here on LA56.
And Eyewitness News continues at 11 p.m. on ABC7 and anytime on ABC7.com. We'll see you later.
Have a good night.